What's up guys, Jack here, and in today's video we have Forza's first stoplight race. So what is a stoplight race? Well, the race is run in 3 segments. In the first segment of the race, you must start that segment on a hard compound tire. At the end of that segment, we will throw out a yellow. Everyone will pit and they must start the next stint on the medium compound tires. Then we will have one last stint, which is a little bit longer. And once we go green on that, you must start on the soft tires. So in this race, we used the Forza GT cars in a multi-class race with the touring cars. And I think it went pretty well. So we're definitely going to look to do some more stoplight races in the future. And if you guys are interested in doing any races like this, please join the Discord and join us for future races. So we are lining up double file for the race. We do these races Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, every single week. So if you guys want to join next week, hop in the Discord, shoot me a message that you're interested, and boom, you're in. It's as simple as that. So we're going to get ready to go green. I'm going to go silent, but I'll see you guys later in the race for bits and bobs of commentary. So we made our way through the chaos at the start. We're ahead of Turk and behind Hudge, and I'm not letting Hudge be on another one of my Friday night races. So I'm gonna try my best to catch up to him as quickly as possible. The track when we start these races is always at 0% on the grip level, so the cars will always be getting faster the longer the race goes. We're still trying to figure out if it matters how many cars are on the track. We've been doing some tests, and hopefully we can get a video out explaining how the tire wear is actually, or the track wear is actually affected on the game. So hopefully we can get that to you soon. But we're trying to close up to Hudge, get the gap in. But this is a long race, and there is segments to it, and there is a special twist to this race. So I always like doing some surprises for the race on Friday. Sometimes it's with weather. Well, this time there's a coin flip at the end of the segment. So the cars, once the segment ends, the cars will keep their positions. Everyone will pit. Everyone will come out of the pits in the same position. But now I flip a coin. If the coin is tails, the overall leader will invert to the front. So the touring car last place driver will be the first person to stay green and restart the race. So it's going to be extra chaotic with all of the GT cars starting at the back if it ends up being tails, which somehow it ended up being tails on both of them. So on both yellows and ends of the segments of these races, we're going to end up with a good old coin flip. Hopefully for the next one we'll have a few more cars. It was a little bit last minute for this one, but hopefully we can get some more people in for the next race as we're slowly starting to get the gap down to Hudge, and we're able to pull away from Turk a little bit. One thing, Turk has a penalty right there. When we do these races, I trust that people aren't intentionally cutting the track. If you're first and you have a penalty and someone finished half a second behind, you won the race. It doesn't matter. We don't really take those penalties into consideration because Forza, for the most part, gives you penalties when you don't really deserve them. like when you lose time by going off track, you could still get a penalty if you were on the throttle too much. And it's unfortunate part of the game, but right now we're starting to get a nice run on Hudge. I'm trying to think, where's the best place to probably pass him? And I'm going to think probably the backstretch. So we got a good run there. Not really a point into taking it into turn one. And one place on this track, you need to watch out for the curves. And that's turn one. You can absolutely destroy your car on the inside. Now, the ones on this corner aren't that bad because the speed isn't that high. But now we have a nice, good run, and with the hard tires, as I was saying, it's a lot easier to actually make your way through turn one because it's actually harder to cut that corner. When you run it on the medium or soft compound tires, it's actually a more difficult corner because it's easier to get on the lower side of the track, which is where those death curves are, and they will absolutely ruin your race. So we're getting back to it. We finished the move on Hudge, and I'm gonna let it go, and I'm gonna cut to some more action that happens in the race. So I'm gonna chapter this video as well. So I'll see you guys again later in the race. Alright, so we have the medium tires on. We're getting back and getting ready for the restart. The call for the inverted grid on the coin flip was a little bit late. The pace laps were just too fast, and we've got it a little bit wrong on this restart. So we tried to get it right towards the end of the lap as quick as we could. It was only one more GT car fast. So we're going to be restarting second to last here in the touring car grid. And we're going to have to try and fight our way back through to the front on the medium compound tires with the GT cars starting behind us. So completely inverted grid in the GT class as well. So it's going to make things a lot more interesting. So we got to make our way back to the field again. And this time, Turk's going to go ahead and get himself an early lead. He makes an early move to get to the front. We're going to have to try and make up that ground so we can get the win in the second stint as well. So right now we're in the draft. This Hyundai on this build seems to have some pretty good straight line speed, so I'm definitely trying to take advantage of that as much as possible. Just keeping safe in the corners, not pushing anything too crazily. We make a little bit of a move here on the outside, but we're going to just lay back in. Kind of wait it out with the GT cars coming up now. I thought I had a chance right there to make a move onto the inside, but right there the Bentley showed up and we lost our opportunity to follow that car all the way through. But as I see the Ford go, I'm going to look to the inside, but I didn't have a big enough run on this straightaway to make that work, unfortunately. So we're going to have to try and line something up on the corner exit. So we get a good run through the middle of the corner, and we're going to be able to make the pass and hopefully complete it going into turn 2 right here, as we have the inside line. So we just got to try and straighten up as much as we can. And there we go. We're going to be able to lock in that position as we bonk one of those curves. But luckily we're going small enough that it doesn't actually damage the car. I actually went and checked because I was actually nervous about that. And luckily it was all good. No damage, no engine damage yet. So now just time to try and close the gap back to the leaders once again. Coming up onto the battle for second and third here, we're going to try and get a good run on the corner exit, get a nice little run alongside Hudge. My goal here is to hope to get a nice little move on the outside of the car in second and maybe be able to finish that move and get after Turk quickly. So we're going to try and go in nice and deep around the outside, but we're not going to make it work there. But we still have Hudge on the outside, so we're just going to get a nice corner exit here, try and line him up for the straightaway. So we're going to get back into the draft immediately, see if we can get enough of a run to make something happen into turn 1. If not, we're probably going to see if we can make a good corner exit and make a move directly after the corner. So right here, I'm definitely not going to try and make that move, but I want him to think I am. So right here, Not as good of a corner exit as we'd like. He was able to pull a little bit of a gap, but if we get a good corner here, we might be able to make another run on the exit of Turk. So Turk, he's annoyingly defensive sometimes, but that's his right to be. But we have fun with it. So we're going to get back into Turk's draft. It is fun beating Turk. That's all I'm going to say. It's just fun beating Turk sometimes. So we're in his draft. He chose the Subaru because I just said a random car and he chose it, which was enjoyable as well. We chose the Veloster. I've always been a fan of the Brian Hurt Autosport team. That's why I'm actually using the base livery on this car. I don't want to change it. I believe Force One won a jacket just like mine. We both did the best lap time of the day at the Rolex 24 and ended up getting a Hyundai Veloster Brian Hurt jacket, which was really, really cool. There was one other driver who won it, but I cannot recall their name at the time. They were pretty quick in the Forza scene as well. Maybe if Honda does it again, we'll try and win another jacket. So let's go back on to this battle with Turk on the medium tires here in the second stint. We get a great run on the exit. We're going to get alongside, and hopefully we have enough grunt to finish this move off. And looks like we're not. We're going to have to try and force it into the corner. So right here, all I want to do is make sure he's still on my outside as we get into this part of the corner right here. Good, I'm happy. I'm just going to track out, make sure I just get a nice, good exit, and Turk is not going to be an issue for the rest of this issue right here. The rest of the stint. So now that we've got by Turk, we had the pace on him a little bit. As long as he doesn't get a run immediately back on us, we can go ahead and put our sights down on the car in front. Now, the headlights just turned on, which is a good thing, but a lot of the times when we're racing in these Forza events, these headlights take way too long to come on. Like, it'll be nearly dark and you cannot see a thing, and then the headlights just randomly cut off. So I wish Forza would spend a little bit more time fixing some of that stuff, but you know, fair enough, they got some of the bigger stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and skip to the battle for the lead in this stint. So I'll see you guys then. So we get a good run out of the corner. We're going to try and make a run up the inside to take the lead with just a few laps to go in this stint. I believe we were going to lap 34 on this one. And with the GT cars fast approaching, that means we got about 3 laps till the end of this segment. So we're on the outside. We get a very good run out of the last corner, trying to just maintain our speed, keep as smooth as we can, and we were able to finish that move before we got to turn 1, which is absolutely perfect. So we go through, nice and smooth exit, and we're going to be able to create a gap immediately, and we're just going to be able to run all the way to the last lap of this segment in the lead. So that's 2 for 2 on the first stint with the hard tires, the mediums, and the second stint. So we're going to be moving on into the third stint, where again we will be starting last of the TCR cars. We have to make our way to the field again. I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, so we're coming up to a restart here. The first restart we had on the soft tires, it didn't exactly go well. So we had a yellow flag come out immediately, like 1 lap later. Go figure. Restarts bring restarts, cautions bring cautions. You know how the old saying goes. So we're back, we're green, we're off on our way. So let's see if we can make up some ground. So 1 yellow flag for incidents so far in all of the stints. And unfortunately, we're going to add to that number a little bit more than once. So boom, nice hit there. So boom, 2-car incident. We both get 100% damage. Yellow flag's out. We're going to come into the pits. We're going to go again. After the restart for the next one, you're going to see all of a sudden Arcaina and Hudge go into the pits because they both got full damage as well. So there was another yellow flag that came out. Now, hopefully we can get a clean run to the finish after we group up for this restart. So there we go. We crossed the line. Yellow flag is now out. We've got by both Hudge and Arcaina. Both were pretty quick. So right now we have Lazy up in front on the restart, I believe. And little bit of a slow restart here. Unfortunately, they couldn't see the start finish line, so they went a little bit after. So you can see all of us are really antsy, ready to get going. I mean, we already crossed the line and we haven't gone yet. So it's like, all right, let's go. And finally, we're going. We're finally green. We get around Thriller right away. I mean, we already crossed the line. We should have just gone at that point. Little bit messy, but we'll sort it out for next week. Now, Thriller has Hudge behind him, Turk directly in front of me. Right now, I know I got a little bit of pace on Turk, but I know I can get around him because our cars are pretty equal on straight line speed, so I'm not going to push or rush this. Just going to take it nice and smooth. Thriller's still behind us. I have a little bit more of a pace advantage on Thriller than Hudge, so as long as Corey stays behind Thriller... Oops, I shouldn't have said anything. Well, maybe now we're going to have to try and press Turk a little bit more because we don't want Hudge coming up behind us and spoiling our fun again, much like the race at Suzuka where Hudge turned it on the last stint and got by me with 5 laps to go in a crushing defeat with engine damage just costing me slightly too much. So we're riding behind Turk, heading along, following along in the draft. The gap to Corey hasn't really changed. We maybe extended it a little bit. We're just focusing on getting nice, good runs out of the quarters and seeing when Turk gives us an opportunity, are we going to be able to capitalize on it? I don't think we're that much faster where we can just force a move. But as long as we stay pretty close, I'm pretty confident the opportunity is going to arise. So now that's all we're just really waiting for. Getting a good run through all the corners. Whenever he makes a mistake, that's what we're going to look to finally pounce on that. So again, just running nice and smooth, taking our time. No reason to rush. So at this point of the race, we don't know that there are only 8 laps remaining. Because the GT cars are on a different lap, we don't know when exactly we are going to be finishing and the laps are winding down. But the battle shall still carry on. Now we need to get by Turkleton. So what's step 1 of getting by Turk? Well, step 1, get alongside. That's in his head. Right now, we're going to try and pass him around the outside, but it's not going to work that time, but we sneak away without a penalty too. I see Turk has a penalty, but honestly, I could care less about that. I want to beat him on the track. I could sit behind him if I needed to, but nah, that's lame. Penalties don't count. So let's try and make another little move on Senior Turkleton. We're back in the draft. We're going to get a decent little run. The Hyundai and the Subaru are pretty close on top speed, so when there's a draft, you definitely have a good chance. But we're going to back off, maybe wait a little bit later. How much later? Well, not much. We'll try again on the next lap. So we're cruising in. We got another little run on Turkleton. We're going to try to get up the inside of him, but we accidentally gave him a little bum draft. I should have turned underneath him a little bit sooner, but that was my mistake. But This is part of step 1 again. We're getting in his head. Yes, we're gonna make this pass around the outside of turn 1. He's gonna be so sad. He's gonna be devastated to get passed around the outside there. So in his head, he's not gonna let it happen. He's thinking, oh no, he's gonna pass me in a cool way. He's gonna end up on YouTube. Yeah, that's definitely what he's thinking in his head right now. So we're gonna try and gut her on the inside this time. So now I'm trying to set up how can I make a sweeping run on the outside and get to the inside of him on the following corner. So that's my mindset right now, is to try to get enough speed carried to get onto the outside of him, but it's just not going to work this time around. We're going to get back in line, try and get another good run off the last quarter, which sometimes when we get it right, I think we get a better run out of the last corner than he does. But if we get a little bit of that understeer right away, right when we hit the power, if we go on too quickly, it's going to push out wide and we're not going to get a good run with this car being front-wheel drive and the Subaru being rear-wheel drive. So again, making our way through turn 1. Not our best one. We're down a little bit on the start already. So we're just going to try and get back into the draft and see if we can make another run at him. We're definitely in his head at this point as the laps are winding down. He's definitely starting to get a little bit nervous, and he's definitely starting to feel that pressure as we're slowly drafting up, and we're definitely getting a good run now. So we might be able to make a move coming into this corner, but we're just going to get focused on our good corner exit. We're getting closer and closer. He's got a little bit of a gap, but right now I'm sensing it's probably time we need to start pushing and going, because we don't have a lot of laps left. Right now we are looking at 3 full laps to go once we cross this line. We got to get by Turk now, because we also have Arcadia still behind us. So if we get caught up in this battle, he's going to be right there behind us. I want this win on my first win on my own event. So what can we do? Right now, I overdrove turn 1 a little bit and trying to make up the ground again. I smacked the curb and overdrive again, so another mistake. But we're going to be able to stay in his draft, and all it's going to take is 2 good corners for us to be back up with him. We're in the draft. He's weaving. I told you, step 1's working. Now, step 2, make him make a mistake. Where is that mistake going to come? Well, we're going to get close enough to push him into this corner a little bit, and he's not going to get a very good exit. So right there, he gets on the power a little bit, gets a little bit loose, and we get a better run out of the corner, which means we can get to the inside of him. He tries to shut the door, but we are there. We take a little bit of the curb, but we get alongside of him, and I don't know what's happening, but Turk gets a little bit excited and goes flying. Just yeets himself right off the track. Turk, tell me what the thought process was in the comments, because I know you probably would have wanted to see that one clip back. So that's it. We got by Turk, and we are coming on to the last lap here, and we are gonna take our first victory in our own event for the first time. So thank you guys if you've made it all the way through this video. It means a lot that you guys enjoy some of this content, so I look forward to getting some of the content from Daytona, like some driver interviews and stuff. Hopefully I can get some good stuff for you guys. Alright, so if you want to join this race in the future, I'm leaving a link to the Discord down below. And with that, I will see you guys off. One more time, thank you for watching the first stoplight race in Forza Motorsport. If you have any ideas that you think would be fun for us to try, please leave them in the comments down below, or join the Discord and suggest them there. But hopefully I get to see you guys on track soon. Have a good one.